Welcome back to the channel, guys. Self Educated Economist here. And today I'm going to be talking about the S&P 500 and why it's a fantastic investment for 99.9% of investors out there. And I'm talking about long-term investors. So if you're somebody that just wants to buy something and forget it, or you want to DCA in dollar cost average, the the S&P 500 is a fantastic way to invest some of your money and grow your capital, because as you could see, it's pretty much been in a permanent upward trend in a bull market pretty much since 2008. So I guess beginning of 2009, February 2009, more or less. Yeah, yeah. March 2009 has been in an uptrend, and it pretty much in the last 20 years, well, I guess 26 years or so, a little bit more about the last 28 years, it's only seen two major pullbacks. Two, like by major pullbacks, I'm talking about like 50% or more. And that was here in the year 2000. And it finally bottomed here in 2003. And that was the dot-com bubble when it burst. You had a big pullback in the, amongst other things, we had a big pullback in the S&P 500. It pulled back 52% from top to bottom. And then over here in the great financial crisis in 2008, and that was another juicy pullback of 57%, almost 58%. And then since then, there's been some smaller ones. Here's a small one here in 2010. Another, I mean, it's big for the stock market. I mean, it looks small in the chart, but these are actually pretty big for the stock market. 22%, 23%. And then there's a few more here. This is the Corona dump. This was in 2018. I'm not sure what was going. Maybe it had something to do with, no, but the repo market was in 2019. So I don't think this is the repo market, but this is in, yeah, so 2018, 20%. The Corona dump was 35, 36%. And then 2022, we also had a nice juicy pullback here, 26%. And then most recently this year, there was a good pullback as well, which is about 20% from top to bottom. So anytime the S&P 500 drops about 15%, 20%, it's a great buying opportunity. But because you could see from once it drops that 20%, 30%, whatever, it bounces, in this case, 120%, right? 600 days later, so 2 years later, you're up 120%. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's uh, and then from that bot from the bottom to the top 74%, and that was what, another 2 years, a year later, more or less. So yeah, so like the S&P 500 is a fantastic way to invest, especially if you have a low appetite for risk. You want something that's going to go up and to the right. Will one day this change and the S&P 500 drop 100% or something? I don't know, something crazy from the top maybe, but when that day comes, I think there's going to be a lot worse things going on in the world. So yeah, so I mean, it's a great investment, and it's a great place to start investing if you're new to investing and you don't want to risk too much and you want to just kind of set and forget it. You want to do dollar cost average, which is buying a little bit at a time. And also, what you could do is more like dynamic DCA, where you are DCAing in throughout, but you're always holding back a bit and waiting for these bigger opportunities to just buy a little bit more. So pretty much anytime the S&P 500 touches this green moving average, so this is the 55 monthly exponential moving average, it's a fantastic buying opportunity. And you've only had a couple of those in pretty much since the year 2010, 2009, you've had, well, it was below it here, but here you had one, not quite there, but two, three, four, and almost this one's five. So four opportunities to buy that dip, if you will. So yeah, so that's my spiel on why the S&P 500 is a fantastic investment for investors, long term minded investors, and investors that have a low risk appetite. And then, of course, if you are somebody who actually has debt, then you should probably pay that off first. So if you're liking the content, don't forget to subscribe. Drop a like in the video if you like it. If you dislike it, drop a dislike. And if you have any comments, drop them down in the comment section. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care.